podcast today is for all the women who are ready to step into their power,
into their highest self,
and who are truly ready to remember their power again. Because I feel like Hello and welcome back to deinem safe space. Today's episode is going to be in English, so if you want to skip the German introduction, feel free to skip to the actual interview part with Riki. Und jetzt ein herzliches Willkommen an alle OG-Listeners hier. Ich kann es kaum glauben, ihr seht mich zum ersten Mal auch hier, wie ich hinter den Kulissen sitze. Zum ersten Mal in einem richtigen professionellen Podcast-Studio hier aus Bali. Ich habe es entweder geschafft, dass ich das Ganze hier auf Spotify hochladen kann oder ihr könnt ab sofort auch auf YouTube eintunen. Ihr Lieben, ich habe es endlich mal geschafft. Beziehungsweise dachte ich, für die heutige Folge möchte ich ein professionelles Setting, weil ich weiß, dass in dieser Folge so viel Wisdom gedroppt wird und so viel Mehrwert geliefert wird, dass es das Format auf jeden Fall wert ist. Wir fangen an mit Manifestation, gehen dann über die Mondzyklen, also wie du mit dem Mond auch manifestieren kannst. Wir reden über die feminine Energie, wie wichtig es ist, dass du deine Energie, dass du wieder zu dir nach Hause kommst, zu deinem Anker, zu deiner Divine Femininity. Und oh mein Gott, wir reden über so wunderschöne Sachen. Also ich würde sagen, dieses Interview kombiniert all das, was ich mit dem Safe Space hier raustragen möchte. Es hat so viel Spiritual Wisdom, es hat aber auch viele Facts, es hat viele physikalische Facts drin und es ist einfach das passiert auch, wenn du mich im Live siehst. Es hat einfach ganz viel Wisdom und ganz viel Soul in it. Riki ist eine Person, die ich schon sehr, sehr lange hier in dem Podcast einladen wollte. Und wir haben auch den Podcast tatsächlich schon versucht, öfter zu recorden, aber es sollte nie sein. Und jetzt weiß ich warum, weil es meant to be war in diesem wunderschönen Studio. Und ich möchte ganz kurz gerne was zu Riki sagen, damit du auch ein bisschen den Hintergrund verstehst, warum habe ich sie eingeladen und vor allem, was wartet hier heute in dem Interview auf dich. Ganz kurzer Side-Note an dieser Stelle, wenn du Probleme hast mit Englisch, schau dir das Ganze gerne auf YouTube an. Dort kannst du die Subtitles anstellen, sodass du dann auch die deutschen Untertitel lesen kannst, weil diesen Mehrwert möchtest du nicht verpassen. Riki ist nämlich so eine unglaublich inspirierende Person für mich und es war mir so wichtig, sie einzuladen hier in den Podcast, weil genau das habe ich auch am Anfang von dem Interview gesagt. Du weißt, ich möchte hier Menschen haben oder ich will dich hier im Safe Space daran erinnern, was deine Seelenmission ist, beziehungsweise ich will dir zeigen, dass es möglich ist, ein außergewöhnliches Leben zu leben im Sinne von, dass du auf dein Soul Calling hörst, dass du auf diese Stimme in dir hörst, die sagt, lass uns den Schritt gehen, auch wenn es vielleicht scary ist oder lass uns doch mal mutig in die Richtung gehen und irgendwie aus dir selbst das innere Calling rauskristallisieren. Und Riki hat genau das in ihrem Leben gemacht. Zwar kommt sie eigentlich aus Belgien und war an einem gewissen Punkt in ihrem Leben sehr confused, hat den Standard hinter sich gelassen, darüber redet sie auch im Podcast und ist mit einem One-Way-Ticket hier nach Bali gekommen. Das Ganze ist mittlerweile schon 5 Jahre her. Und in diesen 5 Jahren oder in den ersten 1 bis 2 Jahren hatte sie den größten Seelenwachstum. Sie hat es geschafft, von diesem unzufriedenen Leben in Europa zu shiften und jetzt hinzushiften in eine extrem erfolgreiche Businessfrau. Sie ist Mama von einem wunderschönen Starseed-Child und lebt nicht nur im Außen das, wonach andere vielleicht streben wollen, sondern viel eher im Inneren. Sie lebt im Inneren ein so erfülltes und harmonisches Leben und hat es geschafft, diesen Shift happen zu machen von einem unglücklichen Leben hin zu einem wirklich harmonischen, ruhigen Leben im Inneren, wenn du weißt, was ich meine. Und genau darüber sprechen wir in dieser Episode, wie sie genau das für sich happen gemacht hat. Sie erzählt uns ihre Magic, weil sie hat eine ganz gewisse Art zu manifestieren und das wird sie uns in ihrem Interview erzählen. Sie kombiniert nämlich Holistic Being, das heißt, also Holistic Wellbeing. Sie kombiniert die Mondzyklen mit ihrer Manifestation. Sie kombiniert ihren Zyklus mit Manifestation. Sie kombiniert Crystals, also Edelsteine. Sie benutzt gewisse Herbs, also Teesorten. Sie benutzt wirklich all das. Für mich ist sie wie so eine kleine Witch, eine Modern Witch. Und sie benutzt ganz stark, oder sie ist sich ganz stark aware über ihre Energie, über die kleinen Tricks vom Universum, das es uns zur Verfügung stellt, um in unsere höchste Energie zu shiften. Und hier jetzt auf zu plappern. Ich wünsche dir ganz viel Spaß bei diesem Interview und ja, wir hören uns am Ende nochmal. Welcome back to the Safe Space Podcast. I'm so happy that you're tuning in here either from international or from wherever in the world, or if you are a truly home-based listener of the Safe Space. Today we have a little special setting here. We are still in Bali, and guys, for this very special podcast, I'm like, okay, babe, we're gonna do it all in or all out. So we're in this amazing setup today, honoring our goddess energy, honoring your goddess energy. Riki, I'm so happy that you're here. I don't know if I ever told you that, but you're truly a very inspiring person for me, especially here in Bali. I feel like you're like kind of my highest self mirroring. So the second I met you, I'm like, I want to have this babe on my podcast because you have so much wisdom. And you know what I really love about you, or about all the people I'm inviting here into the podcast, is like, what I admire about you is like that, you know, you share so much wisdom. You're here, like, of course, you're a starseed, as we all are here tuning in, but like, I feel like your soul also has a really special mission on this earth. Like, I don't know if you actually know that, but it is, I know sometimes we have to be reminded on that. But I know that you're here to raise the consciousness of the earth as well. You're here especially to, remember women to step into their power again. And I know that you yourself had to go through that awakening by your own. And that is what I admire about you, because like what you practice what you preach, you know what I mean? And you can now talk, and you help so many people already out there, so many women. And that's why we're here today to talk a bit about your story, because we want the tea, girl. I know that there are, especially in my audience, there are so many girls out there that are living like an unaligned life, maybe in Germany or wherever, and be like looking all the people that are living in Bali, having the Instagram lifestyle, and it's not about how it looks, it's about how it feels, you know, like all like, because everyone is always talking about manifesting, but I get it, like at some point you're so frustrated and be like, how do all these people do this? And you really transmitted or transformed into this goddess energy that you're now in. But that I know that it's not always like that. But babe, I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome to the Safe Space.
Thank you so much. And thank you for this wonderful introduction. And thank you for going on this journey with me. It's, for me also stepping out of my comfort zone to go from living the dream life to actually sharing it with other people and sharing the house. And the more practical side of how I got where I am right now, because it was not a straight journey, but it came with so much wisdom and lessons. And I cannot wait to have a bigger audience and help more people, more women step into their highest self and their fullest potential, because it is possible.
It is possible. It is possible. Oh my God, I always already feel the big wisdom that is dropping into this episode. It's going to be all about manifestation. So let's start there, Riki. Do you want to start to talk a little bit about your journey? Maybe let's skip, I don't know, when was the first time, or when was your dark night of the soul? Because I know everyone kind of had that at some point. It needs to happen to trigger, to actually be awake and be like, wait a second, this is not what I'm here for. I want to rewire my path. Like, do you want to like start there and take us on the journey?
Yeah, sure. We can dive in. I guess, okay, let's start with, I try to find my way into life through like education. So I've never clicked with like the normal school systems. I went to art school in high school. Then afterwards, I tried 4 different bachelors. I finished 1, and then the other 3, I did only 1 year of them. And I just never felt like I fitted into society, that I belonged. All the structures, the infrastructures, and the way things went, I was like, I didn't resonate with it. And then I went to India on a soul's mission. I sat at an ashram for a month and then traveled around a bit. And there I had my first spiritual awakening, and I wanted to travel to Bali after, but I ran out of money. I went back to Belgium, and I just tumbled back into the rat race, into the 9 to 5. I found myself a boyfriend. I got an apartment and a job, and we really tried to get pregnant. And we tried for over a year, and it succeeded once. And after 6 weeks, I lost the baby, and that was so devastating for me because I always wanted to become a mom. And our relationship crumbled. I absolutely hated life. I was so depressed. And I called my brother and I was like, I don't know what to do with my life. I hate it. I hate everything. And I also was thinking like, this cannot be it, you know, like this is not what I'm meant to do here on this earth. This is not what I feel life should be about.
Can I like cut in? Because I feel like what you're describing is exactly what the norm is going through, you know, like you're supposed to have a bachelor, you're supposed to study, then find a boyfriend, move in, like having children, like trying to have children. And I feel like maybe for you, it was not working out at that point because it's clearly not meant to be that way. I mean, now you're like, you know, and we can talk. Totally different. Like you have an amazing baby, an amazing relationship with, and all of that. But back then it was not meant to happen. But probably back then, like you were so frustrated because this is what the norm tells me. Then when I do this, I'm happy, but I'm not, you know? And then I feel like that's where the frustration happened.
Exactly.
Right?
And it's like your environment as well. Like I love both my parents and now we have a good relationship, but it was a real struggle. And especially like in my teenager years, in my early 20s, I just resented everything. I hated the country that I grew up with. I really didn't vibe with anything. It just, I felt like I didn't belong, you know? So yeah, then I called my brother. He was already a digital nomad, living in Bali, traveling around, having an amazing business. Very good for him for already like going for his own journey, completely different direction than me, but it did help me. And he said, just come to Bali. And I feel like it was destiny calling me. And that was the first time that I really was like, I'm doing this. I'm selling all my stuff here. I'm cutting all my loose ends, you know, or tying all my loose ends, and I'm just going to Bali and I'm just gonna go on the adventure.
What was that feeling inside you that, you know, like, because I feel like so many people are sometimes kind of that point, but they're like afraid to take the leap because they're like, it is a step in the unknown, right? And at some point, when you want your life to change, you have to surrender and you have to step into the unknown. Like, what was the courage behind it? Or was it just like that you were in such a point where like fuck it, I don't care at all. I just go, you know, like, what would you say people that are like at that point at the moment and be like, I don't know what to do. I just want to book a one-way ticket to Bali and, you know, and like.
I think it's a few different things. I think, definitely just take that leap of faith and just do it. I think the hardest part of this whole me coming to Bali was just booking my tickets, you know? And then once you do it, you just flow. And I didn't have a lot of savings. I didn't have a plan or a job or anything. I just came here and was like, I'm just gonna see and make it happen, you know? And within 3 months, I got an amazing job here. Like, I made it happen. Now we have our own business here and I found my dream guy and everything.
Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about that. But I feel like this is the moment where you know that your destiny is calling because you don't know how it will happen.
Exactly. But you know you want it.
You know you want it, and you be like, this is a one-way, like, I don't think how it will happen. I just know it will happen. So I just book this flight and I go all in. And that is actually where the magic starts, because then you allow the universe to like bring in all these amazing opportunities to align the path for you that is actually meant to you. Because normally we just want to control things, right?
Exactly. And I think a very important key thing in this is also realizing that if there's things in your life that you're not happy with, that you struggle with, that you not feel good with, your emotions are literally like guideposts of like, hey, this part of your life is not aligned. And I feel like almost everything in my life at that point was not aligned. And I just felt so depressed. And I was like, I either change something or I just don't want to do this anymore. Wow. That was a big shift. And I was like, okay, I'm just going for it and seeing. I mean, this is the worst of the worst, or for me, that's how it felt. I'm not saying that life in Belgium is bad. I mean, there's people that love it and make amazing lives there. But for me, it was just not aligned. And then, once I just got on that plane, I was like,
and you felt it?
And I felt it.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, that is so exciting already. Thank you for sharing. I feel like it speaks to a lot of souls out there who are like currently awakening and be like in this current state of like depression and like not belonging there. So if you are in that feeling right now, know this is the start of something really big. Trust your voice, trust your inner guidance, and just take the faith of leave and go for it. Because then, babe, what happens then? Like, was that actually like, have you been already kind of on a spiritual path back then? Or was that really like Bali triggering you? Like, because now I know you're like all into, herbs and gemstones, manifestation, living in alignment with the universe. Was it always like that, or was Bali really triggering that?
I've always been like, I grew up near forests. My dad stayed home to take care of us, very non-traditional, and he allowed us so much freedom and creativity. So I feel like I already was a very spiritual child, just connected with nature, with arts, with like the more not mundane things in life. And then I went to India. I also already like studied herbalism and astrology and crystals back in Belgium, but I always felt like, oh, this is some witchy woo stuff that I just like, And then when I came to Bali, I was like, wow, I can actually like fully lean into this and just
actually apply it to life.
Apply it, embody it, really understand it. And the more, and I'm still doing it more and more in more different areas of my life. And the more I do, the more I just feel like life is amazing. So,
How did you start with it? Like, how did you start aligning your life with, like, let's say, I don't want to say it like just manifestation, because manifestation is just one rule of the universe, right? It's a law of, is it a law of attraction?
It's part of law of attraction.
Right. Like, how did you start aligning your life more in sync with the universe? You know what I mean? And how did that thereon the magic happened?
I guess you can tie this into manifestation in the sense of like, so a lot of people think that manifestation is like wishing very hard under the full moon, or putting the shoes that you want on your vision board or something like that. But it's more about, you have your desires, and everything in life has a frequency, and it's just adjusting your own frequency to the frequency of your desires. And then they align, and then you call it into your reality.
Wow. Okay, that makes so much sense. That is so deep, so much I want to go deep into. Okay, so I just try to picture that, like make it a bit tangible for the listener. So I imagine the Riki 5 years ago coming to Bali and be like, okay, here I am now, we're having this life right in front of me. How did you then started to make the manifestation real for you in your life? Because like what you just said, I want to go more deeper into that like, that people actually understand the science behind manifestation, because manifestation is nothing woo. It is proven. It's physical.
It's a tool for self-development, I would even say.
And you always manifest. You either manifest on purpose or not.
Consciously or unconsciously.
Right.
And if you do it consciously, and that's something that I've been practicing for ever since I came to Bali, basically, then things just happen faster, and you understand also way better where your blockages are. So to tap into that, so let's just say, for example, because that's a thing that a lot of people want to manifest. First of all, you need to get clear on your why and your what. So a lot of people are like, oh, I want more money. But you need to really think, why do you want more money? If that's your desire. Is it because you want more freedom? Because, for example, if you would then manifest more money, you get a new job offer that pays way more than your previous state. So you do manifest more money, but that job offer also comes with way more responsibility and hours, and then you actually have less freedom. True. So you get what you want, but not actually what you want, because it was not an aligned manifestation. So getting clear on, why do I want this? And is this ego-based or fear-based, or does this come from scarcity, or is this because this really aligns with my higher self? I think that's a very important point to start. And then just letting go of the how it's going to come into reality. I think so many people want something, but their brain cannot figure out how it's going to come into their life, so they write it off as not possible. And that's where you actually dive into like your limiting beliefs and your shadow work.
And it's actually the ego cutting in and subconsciously sabotaging you. Exactly. And that's why so many people think manifestation is not working, because they don't see anything, or it is not working for them. But it is not about the manifestation not working. It is about their subconscious beliefs and their limiting beliefs that are like blocking the manifestation. Okay, so many things. I'm getting so many channelings already. Okay, so we're clear on how, on why. Okay, well, let's say I want to manifest a new life, or like what are most people like a partner,
life partner,
a life partner. Okay, I want to manifest love. Okay, why do I want this life partner, right? Because I feel like so many people also have like a limiting belief underneath that. It's like, I don't want to feel alone. I don't want to feel lonely, and that's why I want.
Or like, I'm not good enough on myself, or I cannot build the life of my dreams by myself.
Yeah, I need to be held by someone.
I need to be supported.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you say, first of all, getting very clear on really why you want it.
Yeah.
And in the same move already be like, okay, I'm really clear towards yourself. Is that the really reason why you want it? Or are there some limiting beliefs that you maybe need to clarify here? And okay, let's say, okay, I be like, okay, actually I want a partner to not feel alone. So how do I get into then breaking through these limiting beliefs and the shadow work?
Okay, so I think there's two different things here. First of all, if you want to manifest this out of like a scarcity, the first thing I would do, and that's also something I also like when I came to Bali, was like, oh, I want a life partner. But you need to stop acting and living your life from out of lack. So make your life the greatest that it is on yourself. Thrive on yourself, because it's only when you are super happy and in this abundance mindset and in this loving, caring everything that you're gonna attract your dream partner.
Because that's what you said earlier, right? You are attracting the frequency.
Yes, exactly. Not what you want. And that's also the thing. So many people say like, I want. But wanting is actually coming out of lack, out of something that you not have.
Ooh.
So also in phrasing, for example, this is just like a tip for the listeners. If you want to write down your manifestations, always do it in present tense, as it is already happening. You know, not I want a life partner, but I have a loving life partner. I am surrounded by people that love me and support me and cherish me and value me for who you are.
And really tapping into that emotion, right? Like, it's not something about like rationally in your mind, like that you want something, like
but
you
it's
just said,
feeling it.
how you feel, like how does this partner make you feel, how are you feeling in that relationship? So that actually the universe or the energy around you can put you into the right frequency so that you are a match for that, right? Because that is basically what it is, right?
And also looking in your life where you already have a similar feeling. Like maybe you have a best friend who is amazing and you're super happy. Maybe you have a good relationship with your parents or your mom or whatever. Just tap into that feeling and try to create more of that in your life. And then that life partner will just walk in the door. And then, with the limiting beliefs, so many girls want this magical prince on the white horse that is super sweet and aligned and whatever. But then they go about their day like, oh, all men are assholes. All men are horrible. I hate men. It's like, how can you call in a loving, supporting man if your beliefs around men are that they're horrible assholes? You know, that doesn't work.
Or if someone comes along and treats them really well, they're like, there has to be something wrong with him. Like, why is he like, you know? Like,
and you know what? If you think that, you're gonna find that in that person, because you're focusing on it, and then negative attract negative. So that's what's gonna happen. And that even happens in a lot of relationships, like me and Jack, which is my fiance. Like we sometimes had like periods where we really struggled with each other, and it was because we held on to like the negative aspects that we didn't like about each other, and then you actually amplify that, and then the relationship gets into the struggle. And then we had to really like sit down and be like, whoa, let's take it back to like why we love each other, why we really work well together, why we're such a strong couple, and just like start from new again and start to focus on the positive aspects of each other. And the moment you do that, you're just like in this completely different flow. And it's like we would literally then laugh if we're like back in a good state and be like, why do we do this to ourselves and to each other, you know? Like, let's just keep on a high loving vibe, and that will also then be what the relationship brings to us. And that's with everything in life.
So true. It is true what they say, energy goes where focus flows, you know? Is it that way or the other way? I always get it wrong. But anyways, it's like when you focus on the bad, that will grow. If you focus on the good and why you love each other, that is what grows. So if you want love in your life, I feel like tune already into the love
love.
that is already in, because
There.
you want more love. You don't want the person, you don't want like just, you know, something material. You want the full package, and you really want the love. So focus on the energy that's already there, because love is an energy. You cannot see it, you can just feel it, and that person that you are attracting in is just reflecting that energy back to you and make you feel that way. But the emotion is already in you. You can now feel that emotion, like you can tap into that now. So I feel like that is really important to mention that way. But yeah, okay, so we have the why, getting clear and rid of the limiting beliefs, and then
Well, I think a big part that we cannot forget is like how to clear out limiting beliefs.
True.
Because you don't have to do that alone, and there's so many beautiful tools out there. Because I feel like a lot of people really struggle with that. They're like, okay, I can say that I love myself 500 times in the mirror, but I still don't believe it, and it's like I'm still not going to feel it.
And I feel like, sorry to cut in, but I feel like this is so important, because that is the root cause why people think manifestation is not working, because they just do the surface level work. They do all the things. They write the letter to their future self. They put a list under their pillow. Yeah, but it is not about that, guys. It is really about...
It's the deeper work. And
align your energy.
Nowadays, it's amazing, because also I feel like so many creators on social media start more sharing about these things. So you literally can find, I would say, try out things. So for me, a few main tools that really helped is microdosing medicinal mushrooms, journaling.
Okay, that is the really witchy tip here, guys.
Journaling, and then I love working with crystals and herbs as well. I know some people do really good with like breath work, even yoga, like the ice bath. You know, you can also really for the ice bath bros out there who will be listening to
find
this podcast,
your tool. You know, all of these are basically...
They're tools. They're tools to help dig deeper and to find what is really blocking you, how it's holding you back. Even ChatGPT. So you know this. I have a good relationship with ChatGPT, and sometimes I'm just like, okay, let's dive deep. Mine is called Astra, by the way. Let's have a session about like where my money blocks are. Can you keep asking me questions to like reveal where I have limited beliefs and scarcity mindset around money? And I spend an hour just like chit-chatting, and then I'm like, wow, having amazing downloads and understanding these deeper parts of myself. And it literally just like upgrades your life.
That these are all just tools that help you remember, as we said in the beginning, help you remember your pure essence. And what I love, like, that's why I also want to bring more people like you on the podcast, or like raise more awareness on that, because it's what you said, like, when we tune into what the earth already provides us, is it crystals, is it herbs, is it like plant medicine? It's like getting more away from like, you know, because I feel like we've lived in a generation that is like really man-made, you know, like materialism.
It's logic,
addiction, drugs, alcohol, stuff like that. But if we're getting more into the holistic side of everything again, like really cleaning out all of this negative and dense energy, and just focus on returning home to Gaia, returning home to Pachamama, and really be like, I'm on this soul, I'm on this earth, and it has so much benefits here. So how can I make the best out of it?
And also just doing things as you know, the universe, God, however you want to call it, is not interested in like some polished, perfect fake version of you. You know, the universe loves you as you are. So as you show up, what resonates with you, what feels good with you, that's where the magic happens. Not pretending to be someone you're not, you know.
Totally. And it's actually not, I think, not only the universe loves you for who you are, but your soul, you chose to incarnate here as you are. Like, I strongly believe that before you came into this life, and my listeners know my perspective on that already, but that you chose everything. You chose your avatar, you chose your parents, you chose your upbringing, you chose the different path, you chose everything. So,
and you still are. I mean, not a lot of people love to hear this, but you're the creator of your own reality. So if there's things that you're not happy with, I hate to break it to you, but it's your own fault.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, that's also why I made my soul's purpose blueprint,
which is, by the way, oh my god, guys, I've done it already, and she literally blew my mind. I can tell more about it later, but yeah, okay, go on. I don't want to.
Thank you for that. Yeah. So it's basically what I do is in astrology, you have your birth charts. It's basically the date, hour, and time that you were born. And it sets a blueprint of where the planets were in specific alignment towards the star signs and the houses of those star signs. And it is a blueprint of your highest self. It means if you live aligned to that, things will flow easier. So that's also a misunderstanding about astrology. A lot of people think like astrology tells you who you are, but it's like astrology tells you what your highest self looks like. And the more you embody that and lean into it, the more abundance and like amazing your life will be.
And is it also that it shows you your soul contract, like what you chose in this incarnation?
It is basically,
you as a soul.
You could see it as your soul's contract.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been amazing for me. That's why I like started sharing that with other people, because like, unlocking my own blueprints helped me so much. And to understand like, okay, this is really where I'm meant to shine, or what I'm meant to do here. And
I feel like this is why astrology or even human design or all of this like methods work so much, because they remember us into our like what we truly are when we forget all this bullshit, when we're not comparing or when we're not living a life that we're not.
There are tools, you know, to help yourself align. And I think that's something sometimes the misconception of spirituality is that people think that those are truths and that it's like one fits all, but it's not. It's just guidance, different ways, different perspectives on things to try to understand, because we come all with different backgrounds, different upbringings, different cultures, and not everything always clicks or resonates or makes us understand where we not flow, you know, where there's blockages. So.
Totally. Okay, I have a little download right now, and I feel like this is what we should tap into a bit more, because it is the root of everything. It is the root of manifestation. It is the root of all of these tools, and I feel like maybe that is the main message from us today. But it's also like your work, like coming back home to you as a soul and tuning into more of your feelings and how your life feels, how you feel. And there's this coming back to your divine feminine power. So should we talk a bit about that, because I know you're a master in that and you're a big idol, or like say inspiration for me in that, because like you flow and you thrive in your femininity. Like, I don't know if you're aware about that, but like, honestly, your appearance, and not only your appearance, but also like how you treat, how you act with your child, like with your little baby. It is with so much patience and with so much love. So I feel like, especially for the female listeners out there, but also if you're male, like to tune more back into your feelings, because that is all about femininity, and to allow yourself to allow yourself to be a human being again, and not a human doing, right? So can we tune into that a bit more?
Yeah, sure. I think we could fill a whole other episode with this, but I tried to keep it short. I mean, let's just face it, we live in a man-made world. The patriarchy is a lot based on structures, logic, linear structures. And that's the problem. Like, it's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a man hater here. Like, a lot what the patriarchy created is beneficial to us as humans, because also half of the population is male, which is good. But we forgot about the female, and not only as in women, but also the female energy, the female elements, you know. And these are not linear, they're circular. I mean, if you just look at the hormones, male hormones go literally in 24 hours in the day with the sun. Female hormones go in circles with the moon, you know. It's in longer phases, 28 days. It's all connected.
The period is 28 days and the moon circle is 28 days. It's
not a coincidence. But we as women still live on solar productive days. So we go every day thinking we need to push ourselves, but that's not how we work. We have periods, and then I like really deeply studied the moon and compared both the female energy cycles and hormones with the moon. So around the full moon, we should thrive, and we should go and get into action, but we also should have periods of rest, of receiving, of being more in the feminine, being more in the flow. Because if you also just look at the anatomy of the body, like we as women, we have our wombs, we're the receivers, you know. Males are the ones that go the action, you know, the linear, we're circular. And I think, we've forgotten about that, and we lost so much magic with that. And
Totally.
I guess one of my biggest soul's missions here on earth is to make women remember again and make them live again in alignment with the moon cycles, with their womb cycles, and just rest more and be more in receiving mode, because that's where the magic happens.
Totally. How would you view a woman in their divine feminine power? Like, how is her avatar? How does she behave? How is she, like, how does she thrive?
So first of all, she listens to her intuition over her logic, and she's in receiving mode. I think women are here to, we literally call in souls into our rooms. We create.
We are a fucking portal.
We are portals.
Can we celebrate that, women? We are a fucking portal.
We have portals between our legs, you know? And I think, we can also, women are so good at just like getting downloads, seeing things in ways that men can't. And I think we need to honor that more. And we need to have both, you know, protection, providing from men, the strong, linear, masculine structures, where then women can flow in and out and around, you could say, you know, with the ebbs and the flow.
And I also feel like when women just more concentrate on what they're good at and what they're actually, I don't want to say meant to be, because I like don't want to be in a feministic like way, but it's more about like, you know, the women are here to feel, to bring life into the world, to be soft, to be receiving, and the men are here to provide, to be full of structure, to do, you know. And but I feel like in the past like century, like this whole woman or female leadership is like turned a bit too far into the wrong direction, because of course it's amazing that women stood up for themselves, and like we are not only here for breeding, no, I get it, but it is like I think women overdid it too much. Like
they rose to the top in a masculine way, and that's the problem now, because all women on this, or most women on this planet, they're burned out, they're depressed, they are
suppressing their periods,
struggling with their cycles massively. Do you know, everyone knows one friend who has PCOS, endometriosis, cannot get pregnant easily, needs IVF, has breast cancer. I mean, so many. And it's like, why? Because we're living like men. And we're not supposed to, you know.
We're living against our nature.
We're living against our nature. And I really want women to relax more, be more in the receiving mode, trust that if they just chill a little bit, that their life will be great as well. And we've been served this, because obviously for economics, it's better if women are also super productive. But that's not the way the world should work.
No.
And I also believe that men actually would thrive way more if women could just be in their feminine.
Totally.
Because, you know, it's all about balance.
It really is.
It is.
And I feel like, to circle it back to manifestation where we started, I feel like for us women, actually, when manifestation is so easy when we just let it be. Like, it is not about like, you know, doing more and actively and I want to, it is more about your inner world, you know, getting rid of your limiting beliefs, doing all this work, and then chill, babe. Lay back and receive. Plus,
trusting,
detached from the timing. The universe has the perfect timing for your miracles. Your soul has basically let out the perfect path for you in your life. So fucking trust, please, you know, and don't because that is masculine, you know, controlling, wanting to control things, over analyzing things. Babe, just chill, be in your natural habitat, and go with the flow, right? So if a woman is like really like can identify herself now and be like, fuck yeah, I'm definitely more masculine, what would be your, let's say, 3 or 4 tips for them to honor back their feminine power? Like 3 simple steps, maybe also in the day-to-day life, or what could you tell them?
I will share 3 that really helped me and worked for me. I think 1 is creativity. Get back into your creativity, because making art in whatever way or form, if it's through singing, through coloring, and through making something, creating something, doing interior design, the fashion line, whatever, it cannot be structured. It needs to flow to work. So that is literally feminine. Then the second thing is move your body, but in the feminine way. Dance, just be, relax, go float in the ocean, lay on the grass, get in touch with nature is a very big one, because Pachamama, nature, she is female.
Yeah. And feel sexy in your body, right?
Yeah.
Like move your body at home in the mirror, also naked, I don't know, dance around and feel your goddess arising.
And then I think the last thing is just working with the moon. That for me has been a very, very big catalyst, because we literally are so connected with the moon. Like I said, our cycles are 28 days. The moon cycles are 28 days. And even for my manifestations, like I actually wrote an ebook. It's called Manifestation.
Crazy, guys. I know a little bit the backstories about it, and it also blew my mind. I have to mention all of your wisdom in the show notes, because guys, you have to take this priestess off. Please do yourself a favor. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just, I don't want to like say that I know everything about manifestation, but this is all the wisdom that I gathered over the years that I put in a little ebook. And it's about manifestation and how you can actually amplify your manifestations with the moon.
And sorry to cut in again, but this is, I think, why this is truly, like, this is so mind-blowing and such a no-brainer. And I don't know why not so much more people are aware about that when you as a woman manifest with the moon, you're actually tuning into your portal. You're tuning into your feminine power.
Your own flow.
And it is just amplifying the nature, the power of nature.
Yeah,
so
it's a cyclical living that we're meant to be. And you can even like put your manifestations in it. And it's great. I've been doing it. And like, honestly, I have all my friends call me the manifestation queen, because I kind of figured it out how to do it.
So do you want to spill us a little bit about your secret? And now we don't go too fast, because then we
I don't gatekeep here. We share our wisdom. So basically the moon has 8 phases, and each of these 8 phases has a different energy that can help with a certain part of making your manifestation reality. So the 2 main ones that we focus on is the new moon. That's where she's dark, we cannot see her in the sky, and that's the energy of potential. Everything is possible here, and that's a good time to sit with yourself and really think like, what do I want to call into my life? Plant the seeds of like, I want this. And then the full moon will either bring everything that you desired, will make your manifestations happen, or she will shine light, because she's at her fullest brightness, where there's still blockages, where you need to let go of things, where you need to release. And it's also, a moon to celebrate under what you already have.
So is it actually like, it goes in a full month, right? Like every month you have new moon and the full moon. So rather than be like, okay, either during the next full moon I have my manifestations already, or if not being frustrated about it, but be like, okay, where can I go a bit more deeper into it? Like that, like, where are the blockages? Where can I?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so from the new to the full moon, we have a kind of action aligned energy. So that's really the time where you want to take aligned action, do things, write down your manifestations, do some rituals if you like. And then from the full moon until the new moon again, you want to just reflect, rest, reset, and just like let things flow and let them go your way.
That is also a bit linked to the female cycle, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. So I actually like now I declared to Mama Nature that I wanted to align my cycle with the energy of the new and the full moon. So ideally you want to bleed during the new moon, because we're cleaning the hormonal slate, and then you want to ovulate during the full moon. Obviously, like a lot of women are like completely out of sync with this, but yeah, you can get through herbs and just through keeping track of everything, get into that rhythm. And then also in your follicular phase after your bleed, you have more energy up to your ovulation, and then from your ovulation on, because of progesterone, you feel more like you need to rest, you slow down, you feel more emotional as well. So it's good to just like let things out in that phase.
I feel like in my personal experience, just recently, I feel like the last, like let's say 6 months, I really finally synced into that, like bleeding with a new moon and being on my egg jump in the full moon. And I feel like now this is also the phase where I'm really like letting go. I'm more in my softer energy, more in my feminine energy. Whereas before the years, I was actually bleeding the other way around, and I was more in my masculine, you know, like I was trying to control things. I was like harsh, you know, and I'm not a fan of saying like this is right or this is wrong. Like it is not wrong when you're bleeding. No? It is more like just being aware, okay, in what phase are you
exactly?
Maybe it is helpful for you because maybe right now you need to be.
I believe that. And there's also like a lot of these like little how do you say, like graphics out, like which witch are you, you know? Are you a red witch bleeding on the full moon? Are you a white witch bleeding on the new moon? And they have like purple and pink even as well. So I actually looked into that, and back in the days, women used to either bleed on the new moon or on the full moon. There was no in between, because we were so in sync with nature basically. So I believe that some women, the ones that bleed on the full moon, have more masculine purposes or masculine roles to fulfill in that area of their life, because it's not because you're now bleeding on the full moon that you will do that for the rest of your life. You know, it can still change. And then if you're bleeding on the new moon when you're a white witch, then you're more into your feminine, you're receiving, you're soft, you know, more healer energy, rather than warrior energy, I would say, when you bleed on the full moon.
And also like syncing that back together, like let's say you're bleeding on a new moon, right? And then rise and flow with the energy. I mean, that is the pure embodiment of femininity. Like
it's aligned
with
the flow. Exactly.
Go with the flow, allow yourself to rest and allow yourself, because for us women, there is a phase and a season for everything. It is not like you said, as the male, like they do and do and do. They can, like, they have daily phases, you know, they can basically feel and do everything the same day, like yesterday. But for us women, we have cycles, you know, we have this phase where we really push, and
also throughout our life, you know, we are a maiden, we are mothers, you know, we go through our menopause, you know, we have different cycles, different parts that we go through with different purposes. And I think it's super important as women that we just honor every phase that we're in.
Yes, and don't fight them. You know, when you're right now in a phase, let's say maybe in your cycle where you feel more vulnerable, where you want to go more inwards, cancel the meetings, babe. Don't go to the gym, whatever, you know, like
honor yourself, honor your body. And you know what? Back in the days also, women who bleed were seen as kind of like shamans. They had downloads because they feel so emotional. True. And often the emotions that will come up during your bleed are telling you where you're not aligned in your life. The moment I started seeing it like that, instead of like, oh, I'm so emotional, I'm PMSing, or I'm angry because I'm gonna get my period. No, I'm like, I'm listening. What is bothering me? Wow. You know, what is telling me that something is not aligned? Where am I feeling this in my body? And then listening to that instead of writing women off are like, oh, she's about to get her period, she's emotional. It's like, no, she's actually telling the truth there, you know?
I feel like this is actually a big common wound of the woman, because society tells us, oh, she's on her period. She's like, you know, no, it is like, you're on your period, you're highly emotional, and honor that. It is a good thing. You should not suppress
our emotions
this.
Are a guidepost. I talked about this before. And then I think it's the male gaze on the female body, on the female psyche, on the female emotions that wrote women off as hysteric, as witches who play around with their potions, you know? But it's actually, we're amazing. We're such portals. We're medicine woman, you know, we're super creative, and we should listen to our intuition, and our intuition is our emotions, you know.
That is our super gift as a woman. We are connected to the universe. We are, honestly, like when I imagine the picture, we are connected to the universe and we're connected to the earth. Like we can literally bring energy, like souls
together
from the universe through our womb to the earth. Like, I mean,
I know,
for me, this is
magic.
It really is. It really is. Okay, amazing. So this feels like a really already like important topic. Is there anything you want to add to manifestation or like feminine psych living?
Maybe like about manifesting with the moon. So it's not, it's not only with the moon. Just to give you a little tease of this, because every moon, every new and every full moon falls within a year's time in a different astrological sign, which gives another flavor to the moon, which is amazing because you have always different like energies to work with. And then depending on your personal birth chart, it also falls into a specific astrological house. So for people who are not into astrology, astrological houses are basically areas of life. So it's like the where of things. So for example, this can be the first house is all about yourself, the image, your profile, also how you look externally. Then you have a house of your career, success, ambition. You have a house about your relationships. So within a year's time, every new moon and every full moon will fall in each of your houses, which gives you like an amazing tool, I would say again, to work with what your desires are, what your manifestations are, and just to look through every area of your life within the year's time and see where things are not as you want them to be. And you just work with it. And it's funny because, yeah, I have my group of girls where I've been sharing this for years and years and years. I always let them know which houses the moon fall in for them. And they love it. And they're always like, oh my God, this is literally what is coming up for me right now about my career, about my new lover or whatever. And I'm always like, it's the power of the moon, you know, she never lies.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, it's amazing. I would definitely suggest, like, if you're into this, to get the ebook, because I wrote it all out in there and it's super clear on how to use it.
Totally.
And yeah, I've been loving it, and I hope more people get into it and love it too.
Totally. And I feel like this is again so aligned from nature, from earth. Like if you just allow the natural flow that comes with your birth chart and like all, you know, the signs that are aligning for you, because it's different for everyone. So if you just allow that and manifest with that, and also with that awareness, and also with your cycle and with the moon,
it's like perfect energy alignment. And you just, again, going with the flow instead of against it, and things will just happen.
And you going with your feminine way of like manifesting things, and not want to control things, not be like, oh, I want this now, I want this relationship now, I want this man. It's not about what you want now, babe. It's like, what do you need, right? Because you said
and it's fun. Like I even launch certain things according to which house it falls in for me, or I do take action depending on which moon cycle we're in, you know. And it's amazing because you don't stress about like, I have to do this now. I'm like, nah, it's not the right time yet. And then often if I wait, something else comes that I didn't have before, and it makes all so much sense why it didn't come into manifestation or into reality sooner.
Yeah, totally. That makes so much sense. So if someone is like, okay, if you just blew someone's mind right now, it'd be like, wow, this makes so much sense. How can they, like, just a quick setup, how can they start manifesting with the moon? Like, what should you do on a new moon? What should you do on a full moon, let's say, in general?
So set your manifestations on the new moon. Always wait until it's really the new moon, or even I would suggest a few days after, because the new moon is empty energy, you know. There it's the darkness basically. So after that, things start picking up. So plant your seeds, do some rituals if you like, journal about what you want, make a vision board on the new moon, and then take aligned action. And when the full moon comes, you reflect. You're like, okay, has this happened? If not, why do you think that is? Like, what's been coming up during this time working towards this desire? And yeah, reflect on it, and then take your time, take your reflections, and just give yourself a pause and a breather from the full moon to the new moon again. And then you just can start the cycle all over again.
How magical it is that the earth or nature literally gives us the opportunity once a month to set our intentions, to manifest, and once a month to get rid of everything that's not serving us anymore, and to reflect and go inwards. Because I feel like that is also the point where most of the people are like, don't getting it, or like, you know, because they're always in this masculine energy, always, oh, I need to do more, I need to manifest. Always, no, there's a season for everything.
As women, we cannot get more pregnant than once a month. So you shouldn't try to force 500 manifestations in 1 month.
Yes.
You know, it's
Right.
like it's one egg that pops, maybe two if you're lucky, but you know, it's just one time. So just like take it, you know, focus on one thing, you know, do it, or like you can do multiple, but I feel like it always works best if you just have one main focus.
Yeah.
Just allow the cycle to happen, and then you have a fresh month, a fresh moon to start something else.
And allow the cycles to be like, if when it's the time for manifestation, manifest, and if it's the time for rest, like when your cycle, or when it's the full moon, rest and just be. I feel like, how amazing is it that we as women have a cheat code once a month to just be, chill, and rest. Although I know it's the most hardest and challenging at some point when you're like a business woman or even a mom and be like, I cannot do it right now. But it's like, allow yourself that, because I feel like then you're getting even more magnetized when you're actually in sync with
100%.
everything. Nice. Wow, okay, babe. I feel like this is already so like it blew my mind on real times. Like, and that
nice
is
conversation flow.
Yeah, that is why I knew like I had to bring you here. Thank you for dropping this wisdom already. And yeah, guys, if you wanna dive more deeper into Riki's work, what she does, please check out her Soul's Purpose Blueprint. Like when you want to know more about your soul's purpose, why you incarnated, also like what is your highest self version, do that. Really, like I did already several astrological readings, but this one, I don't know what you do in this, which herbs you're mixing, when under which full moon phase you're doing.
It's infused magic.
Do that. And I know your newest project right now, where you put all your heart and all your wisdom that you just kind of dropped in here, is your ebook, where it's called Manifestation, right?
Yeah, Manifestation.
And do you want to talk a bit?
Well, yeah, it's basically everything that we discuss it here, but just in deeper. It gives you all the tools how to do it. And you can also book an extra call with me if you would like to read a book and then be like, okay, I need someone to tell me more aligned what I need to do. Then I will look at your birth charts, see how your planets and your houses fall, and then see when we can manifest what for you, and really dive deep into that. So I'm really excited to help you guys with that. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for holding this space, for allowing us to flow this conversation. It's been an honor, and yeah, let's do this again.
Thank you so much. And you know what, I don't want to just say thank you for this podcast and for this conversation, but I want to thank you for your mission on earth. Thank you that your soul chose to incarnate on this turbulent lifetime of ours right now. And thank you that you have such a brave and unresting soul, and that you're like constantly pursuing your highest self, because you don't know how many people and how many women, especially you, inspiring with just being you and being in your power. So I feel like more women should rise into their power and live like that, because that would be such an amazing ripple effect.
Yes, and we need some more matriarchal energy in this world, you know. I don't say we need a matriarch to like overpower the patriarch. We need balance, but for that to happen, women need to rise. So come on, sisters, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you so much for being here on the podcast, Riki. Is there anything else you want to share? One last wisdom.
Go with the flow. I think that's just trust. Lean into what feels good for you.
Goosebumps. Yeah, that's so right. Wow, okay, let's close this magical portal of ours that we just tapped into today. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for your being, Riki. Thank you for being here in a safe space today. It was an honor having you here, and I can't wait to tap into more conversations with you. Ich hoffe sehr, dass dir dieses Interview genauso sehr gefallen hat wie mir, dass du vielleicht auch den ein oder anderen Klickmoment hattest und dass du jetzt hoffentlich beseelt bist und vor allem voller Courage, voller Umsetzungsdran loszugehen für auch dein außergewöhnliches Leben, weil trust me, wie wir an einem gewissen Punkt im Interview gesagt haben, diese eine Idee oder diese Vision von dir, die du für dein Leben hast, wäre nicht in deinem Kopf, wenn es nicht meant to be für dich wäre. Deine Seele hätte dir diesen Funken, diese Vision nicht gegeben, wenn sie nicht meant to be war. Aber du bist die erste Person, die an dich glauben darf. Okay? Du bist die erste und du bist die letzte Person sein. Also geh für dich los. denn du hast es verdient, ein außergewöhnliches Leben zu leben für dich, was auch immer das für dich bedeutet, okay? Also bitte geh los, deine Seele wartet auf dich. Und wenn dir der Podcast heute gefallen hat, wenn dir vor allem dieses Interview gefallen hat und viel mehr dieses Setting und du dir in Zukunft auch mehr Visual Safe Space hier wünschst, dass ich in diesem wunderschönen Studio für dich ganz tolle Interviewgäste einlade oder auch gerne den einen oder anderen One-on-One Soul Call, Soul Talk für dich mache, dann habe ich jetzt in den Shownotes einen Link für dich eröffnet. Das Ganze nennt sich Buy Me a Coffee. Das heißt, dort kannst du eine Donation geben, eine Spende für den Safe Space und du kannst mich und vor allem den Safe Space unterstützen, dass ich weiterhin wunderbaren Content hier für dich in Bali recorde. Ich freue mich über jeden Cent, der ankommt, egal welcher Amount, 1 Euro, ob es 2 Euro, ob es 100 Euro ist, whatever, was dir der Safe Space wert ist. Gib gerne etwas zurück, ich würde mich sehr freuen und ja, an dieser Stelle wünsche ich dir jetzt, egal wo du an deinem Tag stehst, einen fabelhaften Resttag. Fühl dich gedrückt. Ganz, ganz viele warme Vibes und Hugs von mir aus Bali hier, wo auch immer du aus der Welt einschaltest. Bis dahin, bis zum nächsten Mal.